The most brutal form of control is not rage. It is not a confrontation. It is not revenge. The sharpest weapon you can wield is silence. Withdrawal. Absence. Not a goodbye. Not an explanation. Not even a whisper of closure. Because here is the truth Machiavelli understood centuries ago. Human beings are not addicted to pleasure, nor even to love. They are addicted to certainty. The mind craves answers. It demands endings. It is obsessed with final chapters neatly sealed and filed away. When you refuse to give that ending, you don't just leave a person, you trap them inside their own head. They replay every detail. They invent reasons. They claw for meaning, and they cannot move forward. This is why withholding closure is not just cruelty, it is psychological warfare. Closure grants freedom. Silence creates chains. Chains that do not bind the body, but the mind. We like to believe people want happiness, but what they truly crave is explanation. Think of someone abandoned without a word. Their life may look normal on the surface. They may laugh, smile, and build a new routine. But in the quiet moments, when the noise fades, their mind returns to a single unanswered question. Why? That single unanswered question is leverage. If you grant closure, you free them. You untie the knot. They walk away with clarity, lighter than before. But if you deny it, they cannot walk away. They remain shackled to the absence you left behind. Machiavelli warned, never explain more than necessary, because every explanation is released, and release is a weakness. The less you explain, the more they wonder. The less you conclude, the longer you remain alive in their thoughts. Every story has two possible endings. One, a clean conclusion, a fight, an outburst, a flood of words. The chapter closes. Peace follows. Two, an unfinished silence. No clarity, no final page, just absence. The story lingers like smoke in a locked room. The second ending is more powerful because the mind cannot leave puzzles unsolved. William Shakespeare's plays ended. Machiavelli's lessons did not. Why? Because Machiavelli spoke in principles, not finalities. His words invited endless interpretation. His teachings never fully concluded, and that is why they echo centuries later. The same rule applies to people. Never give them the final page. A lover who receives a long farewell message will cry, heal, and eventually forget. But a lover left in silence will never rest. Their mind keeps running in circles, unable to escape. The unfinished always outlives the finished. End a relationship with a long speech, a heartfelt explanation, and your partner may hurt for a while, but soon they process, they find closure, and they heal. End a relationship with silence, and years later they still think of you. They wonder if you hated them. They wonder if you love them. They wonder if you'll return. Every new partner they meet is compared against the phantom of your absence. Closure ends love. Silence immortalizes it. An enemy who knows exactly why you cut them off can justify their hatred. But an enemy left in silence suffers endlessly. They don't know if you despise them. They don't know if you're planning revenge. They don't know what you'll do next. And that uncertainty gnaws at them more than any words could. Fear of the known fades. Fear of the unknown never dies. In the workplace, when you explain your disagreement, the conflict ends. They accept it, move on. But when you withhold, when you let silence hang in the air, when you never clarify, the tension multiplies. They second-guess every move. They overthink every word. Your silence dominates their imagination. And here is the key. Imagination is always harsher than reality. When you speak, they know. When you're silent, they invent. And what they invent is always more terrifying than the truth. Fear fades. Threats are dull. Even pain loses sharpness. But the absence of closure? That remains. Because the mind cannot stitch a wound shut without an ending. Every time the thought returns, the wound bleeds again. This is why silence is not weakness. It is positioning. It is dominance without effort. Closure is mercy, and mercy destroys leverage. If you want to use silence deliberately, you must follow the principle with precision. Step 1. Give them intensity. Before you withdraw, give them something powerful. Praise, passion, connection, an unforgettable high. The higher the emotional peak, the deeper the silence cuts. Step 2. Leave at the height. Most departures come during arguments. That is predictable. That is weak. The true strategist disappears when things feel strongest. This creates contrast, and contrast imprints memory. Step 3. Say nothing. Not "I need space." Not "it's not you." Nothing. Because words are released, and release is a weakness. Step 4. Reappear only if it serves you. A like, a cryptic message, a single emoji, enough to ignite the ashes, never enough to explain. The goal is not to end the story. The goal is to keep it alive. Here is where the tactic becomes Machiavellian. Silence does not only control the individual, it controls the room. When you leave without explanation, they seek closure from others. They talk, they speculate, they ask questions. Why did he disappear? Why did she cut me off? What do you think it meant? And every time they open their mouth, your absence spreads. You did not demand attention. You did not explain yourself. Yet now, entire groups whisper your name, inventing stories about you. You become less of a person, more of an image. And images are harder to destroy than people. Scarcity creates value. What is rare is precious. What is silent becomes sacred. Even the strongest people fall to silence. The confident, the dominant, the proud, they expect to control the narrative. They expect explanations. They expect closure. When you deny it, you strike at their ego. Their strength becomes weakness. They spiral. They overanalyze. They beg. They chase. You do not dominate them with words. You dominate them with what you refuse to give. This is why silence is the rarest form of power. It turns even the strong into the weak. Do not confuse silence with indifference. Indifference fades. Silence lingers. When you deny someone closure, you infiltrate their mind. You do not simply leave, you remain. Every decision they make is shaped by the gap you left behind. Closure lets them bury you. Silence turns you into a ghost. And ghosts never die. Machiavelli would tell you, power is not striking loudly. It is in leaving unfinished sentences. It is in withholding explanation. It is refusing closure. Because a clean ending is released. But an unfinished story is a prison. And when their own mind becomes your jailer, you have already won. The law is simple. Never give them the ending they crave. Never hand them the key to peace. Let silence do the work. Let absence echo louder than words ever could. Because people can forget explanations, but they never forget the silence that left them searching.